Youdia.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Hez. We here on Planet Youdia, and today we have our discussions. And as you can see, we got a room full of people. And as we're gonna do, as you guys love that what we do, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. But it's just talk, have a good time, and get down to the root of some problems. I'm Hez for Prez.
My name's Young Activist, and so let's go around. Starting on this side, we're gonna introduce everybody. So let's go.
My name is Tiara Wright.
My name is Jaden Fierce.
My name is Aaliyah Barber.
I'm Hermela Hailu. My name is Salam Hailu.
Dane Washington.
Brenda Juarez.
Nevaeh Casanova.
Zachariah Dennis.
Damari Washington.
My name is Candace Neal.
DJ M.
Cool. Is Casanova your last name for real?
Yeah.
That's Casanova.
What nationality?
What's your nationality?
No,
ethnicity.
The ethnicity, yeah, for like a last
So,
name.
I'm Sardinian, Native American, and Mexican.
Sardinian. What is it? I don't know what it is.
Sardines? No.
You can't bring black people on camera.
I don't think I heard that. That was mad low.
Sardines. Hey, that sounds like a place where sardines go to.
That's what I was saying.
That's how like you fucking town.
Yeah, we got a whole town, a village full of sardine people. That's where they go capture.
So cool. We're gonna kind of start this conversation off with a question. Elijah had this miraculous question he couldn't wait to ask y'all. So here it is.
So here's the question. And y'all could also comment down below as well in the live stream. I'm really curious on this. So everybody here loves our phones right in the 21st century. So let's say you wanted to build your perfect phone, but you can only put 3 features on it. What are those 3 features you're going to put on your phone to make the perfect phone for you? We're going to start on this side with DJ. Go.
Wait. Before, so it's not too confusing, you can like use a phone, like already, let's say you have an iPhone 11, you can use that phone and like modify it if you want to.
Exactly.
You know, I got my answer.
Okay, cool.
So first thing, decent, easy user interface. As long as the phone is easy to use, we good.
You need to use interface.
Yes, user interface. A user interface is basically what our phone is. It's our layout to our phone, so you know how you get to your apps and stuff like that. So as long as it's easy and easy to use, that's like my number one thing for a phone. I don't like clunky phones. If I was building my perfect phone, I would just want a feature that puts money directly into my bank account. Just all of that.
So you want a hacking phone? You want
No, I don't want a hacking phone. No, because the government got it. They got the money. They got the trillions of dollars. I just want to be able to press a button if I need the money.
Where that money coming from?
The government. We pay taxes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my money. At the end of the day,
It's my money.
It's Republican phone.
That's a MAGA phone.
you're not gonna go that far. I just need my money, man. I just need my money.
So you said a user interface, a feature that brings money directly to your phone.
Yeah.
What's the last one?
Last one, I don't know. Probably like Google or something. Yeah.
Word up.
Google Canvas.
Make sure you also say the phone type you want it on.
Oh, I want an Android because it's Android gang. I don't like iPhones. You can get out of here with that. Android is supreme.
Stupid.
I'm sorry. Get out of here. Y'all was with me and then you wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm the only Android user. I love my Android.
What you talking about? I'm an Android user.
Okay, see, he gets it. It's not just me. It's not just me. I can put my phone in night mode. My phone is in night mode. You want to look?
Are you defending an Android right now?
I am defending it.
Online?
Alright,
We can do that.
we gotta get to everybody else. Mr. Android gang, alright?
It's like that.
Just like that.
Can't bring black people over.
Only thing, honestly, I probably keep with like the iPhone 8 Plus because I like that phone and it's an easy phone to use
That's true.
and everything. I probably make like the screen indestructible because dropping it, cracking it, all that.
She want a Nokia iPhone.
They like had a baby, we can work that out.
Right.
If
they could have a baby, they could work that out. Nobody heard that. That was funny.
What else? I don't know phones. I don't know, like an actual usable Siri, like that I can ask questions and she actually answers with a decent answer. Not, I don't know. Let me Google search that.
Right.
Like that's not useful to me.
Right.
Siri can be human answer.
On me, a human in there.
Right.
I don't know.
She wants a phone that will eventually take over the world. She wants like an AI phone.
Right, an AI.
She wants an
like
iRobot
just give
phone.
me like an actual question. You can sit there and Google it. Why can't you read me the answers or something?
Siri, I'm sad. Talk to me.
Okay.
Like no, Siri be roasting people. Just ask.
Them is the phones that
Just ask Siri what's 0
How would
divided
you
by
know?
0.
Are you Android game?
Yeah, the Android gang.
She got me.
But I have so many iPhone friends. Like all the people in this room.
She's on him.
I got iPhone friends. I don't.
Yeah, iPhone friend. That's not like what a white
So like a white,
supremacist
like a
said. Hey, I got black friends.
I got
I got black friends.
You have some black friends.
Although I like Android, I like iPhones too.
You want to skip these? And that's okay. If y'all don't have an answer, like it's a lot of y'all, so if you don't have an answer, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Question to answer. I'm ready. I'm so ready.
I want to hear all three. So you good though? You got that was 2 features. You want to have one more?
Probably like being able to connect with FaceTime anywhere, because like how it'd be poor connection or like dropping out and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was talking to him about that. I hate to burst your bubble, but you need satellites. It's not phone issue.
He don't realize that signal can work anywhere, but anyway.
Okay, bro, go ahead.
It's like that. Maybe my phone model might be a HTC. That was my favorite. That was my first phone ever.
HTC?
Oh, that's with the little green dude, huh? Yeah.
The Android phone.
That's like saying something about BlackBerry. Hey, bro, I'm keeping it down. BlackBerry was the truth.
I thought those was cool.
Maybe have like a tougher screen, because I remember I dropped that thing one time on carpet. The screen shattered. It was sensitive like an iPhone. I'm telling you.
Damn. Like an iPhone. Okay. So HTC with an indestructible glass.
Maybe a longer battery, because it has good graphics and stuff when you're playing games like that. But the battery drains so fast.
Right. Okay.
And I guess maybe more storage, because I know it had a little bit of storage, but I always had a micro SD card, so it just had a.
Oh, so you don't want to have to buy more storage in order to put your phone.
Yeah,
I like that.
He thought technical.
That was smart.
He thought technical. He
Plus
didn't say, "Let me get an
plus
app."
I heard that
that
HTC
gets money
is
to my
a good hacking phone. So
Man.
See, you know that shit.
He said.
That was good.
Miss Casanova.
Probably like the perfect camera, like
Yes.
ever. And then a phone that charges itself, like you don't ever have to plug it in, so it never dies.
That's hard, bruh.
You sound like you need a battery pack. That's what it sounds
The phone is the battery pack.
Yeah.
That would blow up.
It sounds like
that is not how energy works. Go ahead.
I'm not trying to bring you money that the pressable button. That's not how money works.
You right. You right.
I mean, maybe
like that
Go ahead.
solar power.
And probably a phone that wouldn't break.
So indestructible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang, I like yours. That's hard.
I'm gonna keep it with the phone that doesn't break, because I swear I have to get a new screen every 2 months.
Yeah.
A
You got
long
money and
battery.
you're responsible. You replace your screens every 3 months?
No, like the screen protector.
Oh, you have a screen protector?
Wait, you don't?
Hell no.
That's the first thing I buy.
Hey, bro, I went to Walmart one time. There was out of 11 Pro cases. Never looked for it again.
Why not do like a phone shop?
Because who goes to phone shops? Does anybody shop at phone shops anymore?
Don't come on in. He's just
I'm like,
That's called nigga solutions.
That's ignorant. Boom! I'm getting a Motorola Razr. Up top.
Yeah, with the old school.
Let me talk to you, okay? The Motorola Razr, because those was fire. Everybody liked the Motorola Razr, okay?
Yo, bro.
That was the iPhone before the iPhone.
Which one was that? That was the flippy
That was
one?
Nah, that was
the slim
the
one.
slim
that
joint
flipped.
with the
one.
sharp top and that joint had him on the front. Got that joint red and silver. Boom, okay. Okay, I like the camera. The camera idea is fire. The perfect camera.
Most definitely.
A fire music app, because you know Apple Music and Spotify, like you know you could get songs on Spotify that you can't get on Apple Music and vice versa. And then you got songs on SoundCloud. We could just combine all them genres. Boom. See, I just was good on the Motorola Razr part. When I said I had a fire idea, I thought I was gonna get away with that. Yeah, that's it though. That's all I got.
Okay, like that. You gonna skip? You gonna skip?
I think I would definitely do, but I can't break it. Unlimited storage and like ultimate camera. So like it's the best kind of view.
Damn, I like all those.
This is cameras, like the main thing.
Yeah, cameras. Okay, especially with females, like you gotta.
That's where it started at. That's where the trend started, was the female. Only females said cameras.
Yes.
We never looked back since.
For me, I'm gonna just say, I'm just gonna have to go with that camera. As long as that camera's good, I'm cool. Other than that, I'm not
Okay.
I was thinking, you know how like every app has to update?
Right.
I would rather, like, I don't know, like have something to where it doesn't, you know, have that update.
So you
like, so no update.
So
for no
every
apps,
app
like,
is just like the first time you see it is the only version you'll see.
Yeah, like keep it at that version. Like,
Damn, but think about the never for
update.
Facebook. There'd be no live, and we would never see a lot of things.
But
a
sometimes
lot of things. A lot
with
of
some
stupid shit,
apps,
but-
like with the whole update thing, it's like there's no change. Like you don't see no change in some of the apps. So it's like, why do we have to update all the time? But that would be the only thing, because in the camera, I'm definitely gonna do that.
But what about if you got
And
a
in the
phone with
storage.
all the updates on it? Then you wouldn't have to update anything. It just was
Right.
updated to
Already,
its max.
That's most phones though now. They do have automatic updates.
There's just so many updates on my
You just gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, it's automated updates.
Just go to sleep and it'll be good in the morning. Okay, so that's cool. I'm glad we answered that question, got it out the way. All right, so this next question, you can take this question any way you want to. You can answer it however you want to, however you want to. But yeah, so where is it where you guys feel the safest?
Like comfortable, just to elaborate a little bit more, like
Right.
comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Like wherever. I want y'all to answer, so I ain't gonna try to give y'all no
ideas.
Yeah, no ideas, but basically, where do y'all feel the most comfortable, safe, you know, in your special place? So let's start off on this side, start off on that side. This time, I want to hear where you feel the safest, most comfortable, and calm.
Okay. I want to say outside, in the nature, like the parks and stuff. Like I feel safe out there.
Like the woods?
No, not the woods. I haven't been out there. Like.
Damn, my bad.
I wasn't there.
Right. Get it straight.
Okay, let me just keep it simple.
City
home,
park.
At home, outside.
Okay.
I like it. Outside.
So yours is at home?
Yeah, at home.
Okay. Word.
For me, I would say I wouldn't call it a safe place. It's more like a home as well. The Boys and Girls Club more so, because it's just like, that's where I grew up. That's where I kind of evolved, helping give back to my community. It kind of makes me feel good, like, so.
Which Boys and Girls Club?
In Park Hill, Vickers Boys and Girls Club.
Make sure you shout it out.
Yes,
don't be
Vickers
one
Boys
of
and
them.
Girls Club. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. That's me.
Vickers Boys and Girls Club.
Yes. It's just it's a safe place. And then having the ability to be like a role model and like a big sister to youth and stuff, it kind of makes me feel like I'm doing good, but also like I'm safe so that I'm making my kids feel safe.
Right.
So,
right. Okay. That's tight.
Mine would probably have to be the shower. I feel like really calm and relaxed and comfortable in the shower.
She chased hours of showers.
Yeah.
Do you take scorching hot showers too?
Yeah.
Like where it boils you alive?
No.
That sounds so dangerous.
On me.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I take hot showers, but my
hot
skin's
showers?
still intact.
Yeah, you say you gotta get
You gotta lean around the water.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
You be curving around the water.
Hey, turn off the seat, man. I'm trying to take a shower. You know what I'm saying? Them type of showers. Hey, when somebody flush the toilet, you like, yeah.
Bro, you be just sitting there.
Go ahead.
My safe space is my room. I just like being in there.
What do you do?
Sometimes I paint, I read, just
You read?
watch movies.
Cool. So okay. I want to kind of elaborate on the safe space. Let me give you a scenario, right? Something that's more like relatable. Y'all are all with a companion, right? This companion is just pissed at you. They don't like you. No, they don't want to talk to you, right? They don't want to talk to you. Y'all had a big argument. Y'all was both crying. Like when I say safe space, where do you go and like what are the things that you would do? Like as in, say.
See, that's why I said outside, because I meditate and do stuff outside.
See, okay,
You
so
feel
now,
me?
yeah.
That's my safe
Right.
place.
Right.
Y'all didn't get me, but it's okay.
No, I got you. You just got mad when I said you was in the woods. Like, that's not a bad place, man. Niggas go to the woods all the time.
I am curious though. Would you still go to the shower?
No. I think I would probably, I don't know, my car, smoke a blunt.
That's honest. Don't say, I mean, it's honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all
it's
You live in Denver, homie.
Right.
And so, like, knowing that, like, how the question is formed, would you still?
Yeah, I would still say the Boys and Girls Club just because it's like my kids give me a peace of mind.
Okay.
So, like, I can, yeah.
That is good. That's good. That means you're like a genuine person. Because some niggas would never bring the.
Yeah.
They work there. They never talk
Yeah.
about their
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
Fuck them kids, man.
God damn it.
You should get the shit off.
Yeah.
I mean, what about you?
For me, like it's less of a physical space and more like I could just listen to if I have headphones.
Oh, so mental escape.
Like
Mhm.
That's how you change the
Anyway.
question.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll
Anyway.
be anywhere, and then if I have headphones, I could ignore people.
It's
For
a
real,
wrap.
though.
It's not me.
That's what I be doing. Right. So shit to nobody.
For me, just my bedroom. I'm like, bro, this is my space. It's my area. Stay out of here. If I'm mad, then I'll just go to my room, and ain't nobody supposed to be in there. If I'm mad anyway, so stay out of my room.
Yeah, but they're like, I sneak in there.
Right.
He just be there. Like, he knows his seat.
Hey, he hear you going up to the driveway. You like, oh shit, let me.
Oh, my right leg. He just sit on the bed.
Oh shit.
Is there a problem?
Okay.
I would say my car and just drive around with the music on. Just vibe.
Bye.
Just vibe. Yeah.
Mine is the car too. Like you can cry in the car, nobody's there. Like you could yell in the car, like nobody's there.
I feel
The
you.
car be tight.
Yeah,
Especially if you find a dope spot.
Good time.
Dope spot, some good weed, nice weed. For hours, nigga, hours.
I be screaming in the car like, God damn it. You know, sometimes you might,
Sometimes you need to scream. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's just let it out, break stuff.
damn, break stuff.
But like legally, like throw a glass on the ground.
I don't think that's legal.
It is legal.
It is.
If you clean it out, do it
If you clean it up, right.
Nobody clean that.
If you're
shit
breaking the
afterwards.
glass in your yard, a glass bottle, you're just taking frustration out. The police not gonna be coming. Come on, man. Let's go.
Hey man, hey.
You know better, nigga. You know better. You shit you can't be doing.
Hey man, we're gonna have to take you down.
We kill each other.
I would say mine has to be the library because I have all the books I need to calm down and read, and plus listen to music. It's just a fun time. Listen to music, reading, and if they have computers there and my boys are there, we just play.
That's what's up. So let me ask you like an honest question. Do you feel like libraries will be around? like a lot longer?
I was just gonna say.
I would
most of the
say
libraries are closed right now.
no, because not a lot of people go there to like read. Like I know most of those go there just to work. They'll be doing something for work and then they just leave immediately. And I know kids like to go there play Fortnite and Apex and they be
at the library.
Yeah, you just download it real quick. You done.
Yeah, never had Fortnite and Apex.
At 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, all the kids be coming in there from the local schools.
Right.
At least like 100 or 200 kids. They all have to take turns with their computers. Immediately start downloading Fortnite and stuff, and just start playing, being loud. And I like to be there, quiet, reading a book. And if I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege, I may be a little loud because Rainbow Six Siege is an intense game, and I feel like I want to punch my friend in the face if he's cheating a little bit, but
right.
That's just life.
So let me ask you something. Another question. And my fault. I don't want to, because he honestly said out of everybody, like when you guys said something, you guys said things that like no matter what, they're always kind of gonna be there, right? So if you want to go outside, even in the pandemic, you can go outside.
Yeah.
Oh well, you too.
Yeah.
Like not having the Boys and Girls Club. So how does it affect? And I don't want to think I'm forgetting about y'all, but how does it affect you guys having that? Actually, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
House.
What do you? His house.
His whole house.
Is that because he's your brother?
I'll go to my other brother's room or his roommate's room or vice versa or whatever.
That's a sign of a good brother. That's good.
It's my man's safe place.
Right. Okay. Y'all be talking about girls? He be schooling you? Trying to...
No.
Come on, brother. Come
I
on,
don't be
man.
on girls myself.
Yeah, you be worried about waves. Good job.
Yeah.
What Elijah just co-signed. Candace?
I would probably say like it wouldn't be a particular place, but like talking with my mom, or if I'm like mad at my mom or going through it with my mom, but be my like talking to my older brother.
Okay. So like in a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
A person who can listen.
Yeah. Just somebody else to talk to.
Yeah.
Let me see. For me, it's either my card shop or my kitchen. Cause I guess card shop is where I go to chill out a majority of the time. But if I'm feeling some type of way, I need to eat. Like I'm big old stress eater. Like that's kind of my thing. And there's always something good in the kitchen. And if there's not, I can cook. I'm not trying to advertise myself.
Yeah,
I got a girl.
no,
I love her.
advertise yourself.
No. Well, I'm advertising myself to the viewers, but not to the ladies. You know, because I got a girl. I respect her. Ari, if you're watching, and you're my favorite. She's my favorite. Period. She's my favorite. I just had to let y'all know. But yeah, no. So I cook for you. Exactly. I cook Ari. I cook for my girl. But nah. So yeah, no. I just be in there cooking when I'm upset, and if I'm not cooking, then I'm eating, and if I'm not eating, I'm at the shop, and that's pretty much how I do.
The shop, like the
card shop. I play a lot of games. Not
shop.
with her though, but I play a lot of card games.
You guys are walking meme right now. You know, I don't play games with my girl. You know what I'm saying?
But no, I be playing card games. Yeah, no, I played Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and Card Fight Vanguard. I play a lot of stuff that y'all probably don't even know about.
No, I know about Magic. And I know about you guys cards.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So I'm into like a bunch of tabletops and stuff like that. So Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and stuff like that.
And so like, oh my bad. Being black, is that hard?
Is it?
Just talking about it around, because I know when I talk about anime, I get called like dweeb.
Yeah.
No, not a dweeb. Weeb. There's a difference.
So being black and playing card games, it's hard in the community when a majority of the community doesn't look like you type deal. But it's always a real pleasant surprise when you get a brother to coming in to sit down and play cards.
And you're a safe space.
Y'all look at each other like.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. I call it out every single time I see it. I'm like, oh look, there's another black guy in the shop. And everybody will like get quiet, and I'm just like, it's not that serious. It's a joke.
You get that solid solidarity head nod. Like,
yeah, just like
you know when you're in like a real white space and you see another black dude.
You're like,
hey, yeah.
and it always depends on the black, like his range too. Because if you're like above 50 or like you look old or got kids, you get one of these. If you no, you get one of these.
No, you get I was gonna say.
If I see it doing like damn, let's go. You can
And y'all really vibing, y'all.
I ain't never. I'm sorry. I've never been.
Now, you ain't been in that situation, bro.
I have. Just have people see the afro and just be like,
yeah, right.
I'm dead.
So brother number one,
right? All right. So one thing that I kind of want to talk about, I kind of touched on it earlier, but for those of us that have our safe spaces, are in other places that a pandemic has shut down. Like I know it's hard. I don't know if the libraries are still open. I don't know if the Boys and Girls Club is still open.
It is, but it's just like it's not the same as it was.
Not the same.
Right.
And so how does that affect your guys' safe space?
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay. Well, it's like the libraries are still closed, and they keep giving us updates like, oh, we're still gonna be closed, but you can return your books, so you're good. But like I just hate it at my house because I'm like I wake up, do my stuff, and then play video games the whole day. If I have work, I'll go to work, and then just be bored. Because I already read my books. I have a full bookshelf of books, and I'm just done with it. I want to read a new book, so I'm just bored.
So like, when it comes to I'll let you. You said it's not the same. So how does that how does that make you feel, right? Because as I said and I pointed out, all these people, like everybody else, they have safe spaces at any point they can go to, unless you don't have a phone or headphones, or if you don't have a house with an outdoors, which everyone.
I mean, everybody got outdoors there.
House
with an outdoors.
And so when you
outdoors. It was too expensive. You had to leave it behind.
So okay, well, sorry.
Open the door is $15.
Too much.
You niggas know what the fuck I mean.
You're on house arrest.
You niggas know what I mean.
I know what you meant, bro.
There's not outdoors everywhere. Okay. I don't know what it was.
You just can't leave your house. I dare you.
Okay.
I dare you.
So
let my cold air out.
So as I was saying, like when you don't have those safe spaces, like how does that affect you? For one, I know you said it feels bored and it's not the same, but that doesn't really tell me how it affects not having a safe space. Because I know for me, if I couldn't play the game, like where I like to go to just cool it down, and I was constantly being agitated, and I just didn't have that escape or something to do, I'd probably slap the shit out of somebody. Just being 100% honest, I'd probably explode. So how? I just want to get that from you guys.
For me, it affects me personally. Well, I would say on both ends it affects me, but also my kids, because we're not able to have that relationship. So we're not able to bond on a day-to-day basis, with this whole how long was it? 4 months, 3 months?
Yeah.
It was a minute. So when we finally went back to work, it was kind of weird because it's we're used to physically showing affection, stuff like that. So with the mask on and staying 6 feet away, it's oh hi Miss Jade, and it's oh hi kids. It's kind of just the more so the relationship is, and it kind of affects that and the bonding. For real, right? I guess kids.
It is sad.
I would have
That is sad. And unfortunately, that's a reality.
Well, I guess mine's kind of similar to what you said. Because of my mental illness, my emotions be whopping all over the place.
Right.
So if I don't have my safe space, I'll be depressed, then sad, and then it always leads to anger. And I have a very bad temper, so I'll be breaking stuff. I'll be wanting to punch someone, and I'll be don't enter my room unless you want to get soft. We'll talk later, but you're getting soft first.
Shit, that's just how it be. Okay, so this is gonna sound like it's just a blunt question. How many of you guys smoke in here? Smoke weed?
My mom will kill me.
Man, I turned 18. I came home high the other night, and I had to have a conversation with my mom. That was crazy.
So,
she was "You're high."
So this conversation is gonna be in 2 parts, And again, this is a cool space. I'm not your parents. I don't think your parents are watching. So
they
those
are right now.
Damn.
They are.
They are.
Wait till you get home.
Someone's getting a bubble bin. Hold on, let's get the belt right now.
Well, I don't know, but
My mom would just sock on me.
So those of you that don't smoke and those of you that do smoke, do you find that it's easier to relate to people that smoke? Not to relate to smoke. Do you like find it's easier just to be in like society? Because I know like if you look at everyone that raised their hand, most people smoke. I know that most kids smoke. Like people your age, and if you just like your demographic, most people smoke.
Right.
So for those of you that I guess don't smoke, how does it feel like do you guys have friends that smoke?
Yes.
Right. So how does that feel like? And like what's your view on them too?
I'll start. I don't smoke, but a lot of my friends do, and obviously she does. She's my sister.
Right.
I guess at first I was really judgmental. Like I was like, "Why are you doing this? It's so bad," you know. But it's something. It's a choice. It's their choice, and I'm not. It's still them. They're just smoking, you know.
Right.
And I don't know. And it felt at first. For me, it was different because I felt like I was being peer pressured to do it at first when they first started doing it.
Right.
So that was hard, not like being judgmental of them because they were doing it.
Right.
But also not wanting to do it. But now, I mean, it's their choice, and I feel like people smoke weed or do drugs in general.
Well, drugs and weed, you starting to
different-
cross a little
different-
different. Cause niggas don't just be doing crack, like niggas don't just pop out some rocks and just like, okay, let's do it. You know what I mean? So
like it's more like Adderall and stuff. Like,
right, okay.
Stuff like that. But my school was really big to do Adderall and
right, and if those of you that don't know what Adderall is, I probably shouldn't tell y'all, so go ahead.
It's a drug
Go ahead.
that
It's a bad drug that if you're not prescribed, well, it's a prescription drug. So I guess I should tell y'all. It's a prescription drug that's prescribed for those people that have ADHD and ADD and other disorders that help you like fray away from focus. You find Adderall on most like college campuses and prominent schools where like studying and like classes are like really big just because it's like a cheap drug and like it helps you stay up, helps you focus hard. But the side effects of that are like a lot. So just a quick PSA. And if you are out there and you're thinking, I'm not listening to what Hez says, I'm going to do whatever, make sure you always look up any substance any of y'all put up in your body. That means pills. Because a lot of people are dying. This is like something I have to talk about and be said. People are dying because, you know, drugs. And they're not knowing what they're putting in their body. They're not looking it up. They're not doing any type of research. If it was me, I'd tell you just stay away from it. You know, smoke weed. But some people aren't like that. And so be responsible. Be the responsible drug user. You know. Yeah. So we were talking about weed smoking and not weed smoking. I know you don't smoke, and you're an athlete too. So talk to me about that.
All right, I'm an ex-athlete.
My fault.
I'm not an athlete anymore. I never like was affected by it. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say I haven't smoked. I've smoked before, but I'm not like a, you know, let me go roll. I've never rolled a blunt. Don't know how to roll. But like. For me, like I have friends, like basically all my friends smoke, and like her mother said, it's like your choice. I'm not gonna like judge you or anything, and they're still. It's not like they strung out fiends or nothing like that. So it's not like I'm like pressed if you're smoking weed. They're still my friends. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't affect me in any type of way if they smoke. So I'm like, do your thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. Do you guys smoke? No. But you guys are younger too, so do you guys? So I just have another question for you guys. Do you guys see more like weed smoking, like in younger people than you do with older people?
I vaping more.
Vaping?
In my school, more vaping than smoking weed, but yeah.
What's the population of your school? Is it predominantly white?
It's more. How would I put this?
Diverse?
Yeah, mixed, diverse, but there's more, how to say it, Mexicans and Latino. How do you say it?
Latinos
and Latinos. Yeah, and more white and black.
Okay.
But yeah, and like I'm not really affected by people that smoke weed because my dad he used to, and like I was always around him, so I was always used to it. So when I'm around friends that actually do smoke weed, I'm like, all right, y'all do you.
Okay.
I don't really care as long as they don't try to force me to it, because I know I have a mom that would.
Whoop your ass. So let me ask you a question, because I was the exact same way. My mom used to be really hard on me smoking weed, and so I used to be like, I want to say like middle school, and then like my freshman year, I used to be really judgmental of niggas smoking. I'm like, okay. Anyway, you're right? Because my mom, because the way my mom like instilled values of me of like just if you smoke weed then you're lazy and you don't think right and once you smoke one blunt then you're gonna go smoke crack and heroin and a whole bunch of stuff. But like once you do more research, once I did more research for me personally, I realized it was more to it than just smoking a blunt and getting high. You know, it's more. It was more to it, like like the medical effects and like the money and the business industry and different things like that. So let me ask you: when you move out, when you turn 18, do you think you're gonna try marijuana? Because I mean, well, no, not when you move out. When you're legal, when it's legal, when you're legal, you're 21 because you can consume it, right? Will you do it?
I actually wouldn't do it because of the career I'm trying to do.
Okay.
I won't actually do it.
What's your career choice?
Being a zoologist.
I have a question for you. How like, why can't zoologists
Say that
smoke?
again.
Well, no, it's just
you don't want to be high around the animals, man.
I don't make it to where it'll affect the animals,
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I was saying that I feel like it'll affect the animals, and I really have a soft spot for animals that are, injured or stuff like that. So I'm like, you poor little thing. I'll help you.
Right.
That's smart.
I get it.
Yeah.
So what about y'all? I know that we didn't get to y'all. Y'all don't smoke weed, right?
Well, I can't really smoke because I have really bad asthma and like respiratory problems.
Ooh, shit. Yeah.
So when I do smoke, it like burns my insides and then like I can't breathe and like I'm sleeping with like a nebulizer and everything.
Oh no.
So I just eat edibles. So
Okay.
So you get high.
Right.
She's speaking that on the question.
I don't know, but
You got me. Go ahead.
I don't smoke like regularly, but like there is once in a while that I do smoke.
Mm-hmm.
But my brother smokes all the time, so I'm all kind of used to it. So with my friends, it's like you do you. Like I won't, no judgment here.
Got you. Okay. Cool.
Can I change my answer? I don't smoke regularly either, so I don't know if that's like if you were asking it.
What do y'all think regularly is?
I think you smoke regular. You
Every
smoke
day.
every single day.
Like,
I know people.
that just wake up and that's their breakfast.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
Like the waking.
That's understandable.
babies.
That's understandable. That's understandable. So now, so who does smoke on let's say regularly? Who smokes? It's okay, bro. Don't be scared.
No, kind of regularly, cause I be kind of broke.
He's like, if
You're killing me. I told you I have all my phones. He's killing it.
So okay, so if you have the money, you smoke every day. Realistically, okay, that's a realistic answer. So those of us that do smoke every day, why do you smoke every day? We'll start. Go ahead, Leah. Oh, actually, we'll start because so it's more organized. Go ahead.
Every day, it's some bullshit.
Do you?
Okay, I'm sorry. It's something.
Right.
So and I'm an emotional person, and little things will piss me off. So it's just like, yeah, I gotta smoke.
Right.
Okay. And then I'll go outside and I'll chill out.
Right. Okay.
And be cool.
Go to her safe place.
Right. I'll go to my safe place and I'll be good.
Same. I feel like I smoke weed every day to not be so stressed out, and it calms my emotions. I'm very emotional too, so it definitely helps me out when I'm freaking out.
Who else? Yes,
Yeah. When I was on birth control, I had like really bad anxiety, and that like really helped with that. But usually bullshit. Niggas make me mad and I gotta hit them once and be good.
Actually, answers are going to break.
I don't really have a valid reason, cause like shoot, I don't really
Just like being high.
sometimes that's all you need.
Like,
you know?
like, shoot, my mom told me from the jump, she was like, I know you 18 now, and I know you're going to start smoking weed, but if you're going to do it for recreation, because you don't see me smoking weed when I'm upset or mad at you or really sad type
That's smart.
deal.
That's good.
It's like, don't make it a habit.
Don't depend on it?
Yeah, don't depend on it. So, like, if I'm getting high with, like, my friends type deal. Like, we're just chilling, having a good time. Like, shoot, yesterday we ordered a pizza, got high, and watched Django. Like, that was that's a good time type deals. Black dude killing a bunch of white.
You don't see that every day.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
Switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, but shoot, that's just kind of me. Like I don't know. Sometimes
let him.
Sorry, you're fine. You're fine. Sometimes I do be in my head, and I'm like, some weed would be nice, but I just gotta like snap myself back. Like, don't get into that mindset, because then it's like every time you're upset, you're gonna be like, I need
some weed. Right?
Yeah, it's like, and it's just like, it's not like that. Like, we can associate drugs with problems, because then the drugs start becoming the problem.
Exactly.
We can't be dependent.
You can't smoke the crack.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can't let the crack smoke you. You gotta smoke the crack.
Yeah.
But like, smoke the drugs.
Yeah. Like, not so rap. It's so
No, don't even listen to that.
I know I'm over here agreeing, but I'm not agreeing.
Hey, I do not support that message.
The only reason why I really wanted to ask that question is for like, I mean, well, just so like people that didn't smoke can kind of see why they smoke. I'm pretty sure you have asked y'all's friends. Maybe you haven't asked your friends, like, why do you smoke? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it could be different for everybody. You know, some people smoke because it's just a better medicinal than them. Some people, some people smoke because they hate the government and just feel like, I hate Big Pharma, don't need any type of pills in my body, but I need to feel better.
It also does really help with my back, just a heads up. That's my last thing.
Right. And so that was just kind of like, just so people can see and gauge, because you guys all look like outstanding people, right? And you guys all smoke, so that was just kind of thing. But we are finna go to break, y'all. We'll be right back. When we come back from break, we'll talk about some other topics. Yeah.
Hold on, my sister. Stay alive, my brother. Oh yes, things will get harder, but we're not gonna stop. No, we're gonna stand up and hear a cry. We're tired living this life. Listen to our cries. We'll be alive.
We know what y'all been thinking. What y'all doing? Just relax, dog, kinfolk. We got you. What y'all waiting on? Stay tuned. AHRR Network.
back. Welcome back to the Planet Youdia. We're gonna talk. So cool. We were just talking about smoking weed and just basically just.
Well, you were talking about smoking crack. We're not talking
I said crack one time. You niggas act like y'all never heard the word before. Y'all act like that was the just craziest shit a nigga could ever say.
Just remember, smoke the crack. Don't let the crack smoke you.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, and I mean, it's a good principle to learn.
No, it's not. It's a
principle to learn. If you happen to smoke crack one time, you know what I'm saying? You think about that. You like, don't let this shit smoke me. Don't just get on me.
Do not
But
try crack once, yo.
anyway, let's get past that.
Right,
Let's move
yeah.
forward. So I kind of want to talk about a subject that I don't know. So I don't even know if I was like I don't know, but
No, keep going.
look at you like this. But so we'll talk about like youth violence, right?
About what?
When I say youth, what?
What? I couldn't hear you.
Youth violence,
Okay.
right? When I say about youth violence, like go ahead.
When he's talking about youth violence, you know, he's talking about people like us killing each other, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If it's
Not black on black crime, though. So
no,
that's not.
that's why I said us.
Us.
Us killing each other. You know, youth killing each other. If it's correlated with gang banging, shit. We see a lot of mass shootings today. You know what I'm saying? It's correlated with a lot of different things. So what we asking about is youth violence and, you know, how does that affect y'all and how do y'all feel about it?
Well, that's not really the question.
What's the question?
That's not the question. We're not gonna really go into like I don't want to ask that. That question's a little too specific, a little too broad, and it gives y'all like a reason to cheat. So we're just gonna ask y'all just simple questions. How many of y'all are friends with like active gangbangers?
Not friends, but no.
Like,
no, I know for a fact you know
Like,
some active
no.
gangbangers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no.
Right.
Not physically associated with them.
I don't got no gangbanging friends.
Active gangbangers, like, you know what I'm
Like,
saying?
I
Like,
know
they
what you mean by
represent
active.
everyone.
You don't hang out.
Yo,
And you gotta ask, they probably
You
ask.
said, what do you mean by active?
active? Because there's some people who swear they're gang members, but
That are fake
but
with
then
it?
they're
Yeah, you know the difference. You know the difference between a gang member or an like a, you know what I'm saying, who
somebody who
represents.
just wears a flag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, let's do both. Who knows just people who represent, period.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
They count.
People that just
Even if they fake with it, either way, if
Yeah.
they represent, they
That's
represent.
still
Right, you know what I'm
it's still a
saying?
problem.
It's not a good thing.
Like, do I know or am I associated?
Yeah, if I know.
Do y'all know?
Do y'all like okay? You got friends. I mean, like yeah, friends.
Are y'all
Not
homies with
friends,
homies?
but like
Oh, no,
some of
not
us have
homies.
been-
Acquaintances?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not homies with
Acquaintances.
them anymore.
So nobody's friends with an active gang member. That anyone that like partakes in like they don't even have to kill nobody, sell drugs. They just I'm East Side.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
that's
For real,
doing too much.
nigga, blood. Like,
That's
no.
doing too much. No.
Like, I don't know. Like I said, I know them, but like we don't hang out on a regular basis. Like we were close way back, but like as of the past
Like,
couple
yeah.
years, we don't.
That
we
is
don't work 'cause
so
I got better things.
interesting. Okay, so excuse me while I do something real quick.
Do it.
So since y'all told me that, I kind of had a question. Do you guys think that Denver has a youth violence problem, and if so, why? Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I think everywhere has a youth violence problem.
We're not talking about. We're talking about.
But yes, here, for sure. I think just when you think of youth violence, we can also think deeper than just people killing each other. But if we want to focus on just that,
Not even killing each other,
or
but like
even
violence, just the
violence in
violence.
general. When you see people on the news, kids on the news getting shot, they're not shooting the 50-year-olds. They shooting each other. It's 16, 17, 18-year-olds pretending to be something that they're not, or being that who doing whatever they're doing. But either way, it doesn't matter how big of a problem you could consider it. It's still a problem, even if it's the smallest problem. Does that make sense? So I think it is a problem, and it is very prevalent right now. For sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say we have a youth violence issue. I would say we have a youth miseducation issue. And that miseducation, like whether that's handling guns properly, gun safety, or just training them in different skills, letting them know that there's other opportunities outside of gang banging or whatever.
Right. Because oftentimes you can't tell someone like if you know somebody, if you ever talk to somebody that's in the streets that like that partake in violence or like partake in gang banging and they're making a lot of money. Like just imagine you're making $300,000, like a realistic number, like $25,000 a week. right? I come up to you, hey, bro, that's just gonna be hectic. What you need to do is you need to stop doing all this, get yourself a real job, like at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? As someone who's making that much money, you're not gonna hear no nigga telling me, nigga, what? Why are you telling me to get my shit right to work at McDonald's?
Not only that, but you know, your mama might be struggling, I might be on welfare. Some realistic stuff that we go through, right?
Realistic stuff.
You might not even have a place to stay. People living in their cars or hotels.
Right.
And so what they doing on the side is to be able to hustle, to be able to survive. Sometimes they might get too ingrained in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I also think that like when we're talking about like youth violence, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I'm gonna pull out a gun and shoot somebody. Exactly. Or I'm gonna fight a girl. Like that's not what youth violence looks like. Youth violence in general is like the systemic oppression that we go through every single day. That's violence that has mental consequences and has trauma. And I feel like when we're having these conversations, it's important that we recognize that like to a lot of people who choose to gangbang, sometimes it's not even a choice.
It's not a choice, exactly.
Literally,
exactly.
It's more like
born into it.
It's more like you're either born into it or you're like that's your last resort. Right. And also, if your mental health isn't right, it's like also a mental health issue. Where it's like if your mental health isn't right, you don't have resources, you don't have safe spaces. You what are you supposed to resort to? Right. And that's like I feel like we need to include that in the conversation.
And that ties into what you were saying too, with like your mom might be strung out or be struggling on welfare. Right. That could also be a part of youth violence because that kid is in that situation as well. Right. He deals with that just as much as the parent does. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times when those parents are struggling and that's not on the kid. The kid is just in that. That's just a system that they were put in. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily that they were. They were for sure lacking something at one point, but that was basically how it was set up to happen for us, for sure, I feel like.
I mean, you gotta keep it a band though. Like, I'm sure I can relate to this too. You know, you spend maybe 8 to 10 to maybe potentially 12 hours a day at school. You know, where are you spending the next 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day? You know, in your environment. Your uncomfortable situation just to go to school the next day and then, excuse my language, get shitted on by most teachers. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't have a safe environment to be able to build. So
and even when it comes to leaving and then going back. Did you finish?
Yeah, I did. I don't know. I guess my personal experience on youth violence as a whole is back in 8th grade when I was going to Montbello. So NCAS, I guess.
So you know about some violence.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know about some violence.
But I remember a specific week. It was like towards the end of the year. We was really just wrapping up, doing our last little bits or whatever, and it was a solid week where it was just lockdown after lockdown after lockdown. First time it was an active shooter. Second time it was somebody just walking around the school with a knife out. Another time it was just some dude with a BB gun, but they couldn't be sure. Type deal. So it was just an entire week of back to back to back lockdowns, and that was just terrifying.
As a kid, right? What grade were you in?
I was in 8th grade, so I was like 12, 13, something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it was, and at the time, Montbello was a place that I already wasn't like 100% comfortable with because shoot, I moved to Colorado when I was 6, so black people were kind of like new to me, and then I went to Montbello and I was like, oh, this is
you
great.
You met the niggas.
What's but yeah, no, so it was already weird enough, and then all this stuff was going on around me, and I was like, dang, is this really how it's gonna be? Is this how we are as a community? Like, we had to do better in that situation, and I have seen improvements. I'm not gonna say that problem is 100% there, but shoot, even in Oberlin, we still had a lockdown or two that was just like, what are we even supposed to do with this? And real quick, speaking on mental illness, because you spoke on that, I feel like that's something that we do need to pay a lot of attention to, not just in the black community, but like also a lot in the black community, because I feel like mental illness
mainly
as a whole,
in the black community.
Yeah, no, I feel like mental illness as a whole is really dismissed by people like our parents and our grandparents who may have dealt with that when they were younger, but don't really get it as a whole. And I don't know, if we deal with mental illness as a whole, maybe we can make a big problem into a much smaller problem.
So let me ask you guys something. Since we're on the topic of mental illness, how many of you guys have seen a therapist?
I have one now.
You have one? That's really good.
Hey, I'm surprised.
Oh, me too. I was thinking no one raised their hand.
Hey, bro.
But like
I feel you.
But when I say see a therapist, because I've seen a therapist. That's because I did some really bad shit and it was court ordered.
Right?
But
you didn't do it willingly.
I didn't really do it willingly. Yeah. I'm talking about Dane. How old are you?
20.
So as a 20-year-old, do you see a therapist today?
No.
Do any of you guys see a therapist like on a weekly basis, regular basis?
I stopped going to my therapist because I didn't think I needed him anymore.
Yeah. How you gonna say we need mental illness? You ain't gonna say.
Well, no.
I don't need him.
I do got a question to add on with that.
Go ahead.
It's a transition.
Right.
People who have went to therapy, have you seen a difference in your life and does it work? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a stigma
in the regular users. Right.
Yeah, there are people who willingly want to go, right?
Right.
Because there's a stigma in the black community. Therapy don't work. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It don't work. So I wanna know y'all personal opinion towards that. You know what I'm saying? And if it actually does work, have you seen impact? Has it impacted your life positively?
And would you recommend it?
Great question.
Most definitely. I used to talk to her about everything. I feel like it helps release some of that emotion that I still have. Like she helps me see things clearly, because I'll think crazy, I'm in my head all the time. I stay in my head, and when I question things and stuff, she clarifies that for me. So it helps me a lot, to make me not feel so crazy or not down talk myself, thinking negatively all the time.
And how long have you been seeing a therapist?
It's been a month now.
A month?
Is she a black POC?
Is she black?
No, she's not a black woman.
Okay. We'll take it one step at a time.
This is POC though. POC. Is she Latin?
Oh.
Yeah.
She's white.
She's white.
She's Caucasian.
I'm like, yeah, she's pretty cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Who else?
I did. Therapy, it's really good for me. I remember I didn't really trust at first because, I was always like, okay, I can't really tell you all my friends. I don't know if you're going to blast it out to everyone. But then once I started getting used to therapy and stuff, I was like, okay, I can trust you now. I can tell you everything I need now. And it really helps me throughout the day. After our session, I just feel like I just have the whole world relieved and stuff like that. And it's just like I can finally relax and stuff.
So as a guy, my fault. No. As a guy in therapy, I know for me, and I don't know if I can't speak for all the men, but just talking about our feelings is hard. Because you don't know what you're a dude. Like, my nigga, be a man. Be a nigga. Come on, dude. Why are you telling me this shit? Right. So having that emotional release, do you feel like it helps you become a better man?
Honestly, it does.
That's good. And can you tell me how? My fault. 'Cause I honestly want to know if I should start doing therapy.
Also, I want to know what color your therapist is too.
Well, sadly, the one I had before, the one I had before, she was only in training, so she went back to her home state to actually do it for real. She was black, which was nice. And the one I have now is Latina, and I had her and this is the same Latina one I had before the black one, and I've been in therapy for I think a year or two now, which is nice.
So you've been able to really see change, okay.
Yes.
That's tight. So for the men that don't go to therapy, why don't you go to therapy? Well, because you don't need it, right?
Well, no. That's not how therapy works. That's not how therapy works. Let's say let's say you break your leg, right? And your doctor prescribes you a medicine, and he's like, okay, take this medicine until your bottle's out, and then when you're done with the medicine, that's it.
Right.
You don't have to take it anymore. That was kind of how I was with my therapy. I just kind of knew that I was in a space where I didn't need somebody else. But my therapist was cool. He was actually a black guy, and he made me feel really okay about my emotions. I was already a super emotional dude, but I tried to keep that bottled down and ended up coming out a lot worse.
Right.
Because growing up as a black dude, I think I've only seen my dad cry once.
I don't think I've ever seen my dad cry.
Never. Yeah. I've never seen my dad cry.
Yeah, no.
Never.
I think
Never,
I've only seen him cry once, and I was like at one of his lowest points, and it was, dang, it's funny. That's not what we do.
Have y'all seen y'all dad cry?
Yes.
That's why
I'm like, damn.
Jamie crying like that? We put his business out like that.
My fault, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But yeah, no, I've only seen my dad cry once. He was one of those people that was like, yeah, no, you got to keep that emotional stuff to yourself, because at the end of the day, you got to be a man. You got to be there for the people that you care about. Like, and I wouldn't say necessarily he was like, you come last, but he definitely was like, make sure you keep him straight before.
So behind.
His dad in the next room, he heard him. So we just heard him laugh.
But yeah, no, you good. But yeah, no.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no. Therapy is something that's very well needed, and also if I were to recommend a therapist, I would definitely recommend my therapist, Jason Schenkel. You can go ahead and look him up.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're also plugging therapists along with girlfriends. That's what we do. I love my girlfriend Ari. I love my Jason Schenkel. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
He was like, I do therapists. I don't let therapists do me.
See, that's a better quote. That's a better quote.
Y'all. What?
Anyway.
Listen, I do want to know a question though involving emotions when it comes to black and brown men, especially black men, right? Why does your dad cry, or what makes him emotional to be able to openly cry? Oh, actually, that's fascinating.
You said what?
Their dad cried and they laughed about it. So I want to know.
Well, I mean, it's been so. For me, I just do want to say that toxic masculinity is a very, very big problem. And I personally think that is a form of youth violence as well, because that also messes with our youth's mental health, not being able to express yourself. And I'm super comfortable with my parents and my dad. My dad, like, if I have a problem, I'll go to him. I'm able to confide in him, and it made me a lot more comfortable being able to say, like, I feel like I don't need a therapist because I'm able to express my emotions not only with him, but with my little brother, with my friends. I don't have a problem, like, expressing my emotions to people I'm comfortable expressing my emotions to. Like, a lot of people be like, nah, bro, like, I'm not gonna cry in front of my friend because then he gonna judge me. And that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's a big problem. Because, like, as people just in general, not just black men, but we should be able to do that and be able to be comfortable with the people we're around. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm like, I don't necessarily need a therapist, and I think it's super dope that my dad has taught me and my little brother and my friends too. We're like all super comfortable, and I think he plays a big role in that, which is super dope. So
that's dope. Yeah, for sure. So girls, so girls, would you prefer if men express themselves more, or do you like a man that's kind of just like, I got you, man, don't trip?
No. Yeah, I was also gonna ask. Then you could also add this on top of it, expressing the emotion. But do you also want to see like your man cry frequently or cry in general? Because I've heard different responses from different women on that too.
Not even frequently, because most men don't just ball out and just cry all the time.
It's like every day.
Girls be like,
I cry every day. I cry.
Right.
I cry every
we mean like,
I'll be like, bro, I cry every day. I'm sick of this, man. I do want to hear y'all biggest towards what he's talking about. Like men expressing their emotions. How do y'all feel towards that? You think it's cool? How, you know what I'm saying? All that. So yeah.
Well, if we're going to talk about toxic masculinity, it's also important to talk about toxic femininity, which is what it is. Like, women saying...
On the head. Like, there you go.
Yes. I think, like, a lot of women saying, like, I want a man that doesn't cry or that can take care of himself. Like, I don't need to take care of him. Like, but... I don't know, if you're talking about, like, my male friends, usually I tend to have friendships with men that are... more feminine or more comfortable with their femininity, I guess. So I choose to have friends that are comfortable crying, that are, because it just feels more
comfortable.
It feels more comfortable, and it's like, I don't know. To me, I like men. Men are people. Like we don't like masculinity and femininity is within all of us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we should all choose, like, without having to hold back what we want to show to the people that we love.
Right.
So that's just how I see it.
I also I think it's important to recognize that when we're talking about toxic femininity, if you're in a toxic if you're in a place where you don't want to recognize if I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I haven't said to men, I wouldn't prefer a man who is just strong for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like also for Black women, it's very different, where it's you have to be strong all the time, and it pushes this narrative of if you show any emotion other than happy, you're angry, and it's just I feel like having those conversations is really important, and I think it's important to recognize that we both need to within Black relationships, it's we both need to be strong to a certain extent.
Exactly. Exactly. Aaliyah, did you have anything to say?
Interesting.
That was good.
I think it is
Beer
important.
grabber, huh? It's a beer twister.
Spots.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
This is normal.
Hey, bro, we still growing, man.
Look, man, this just came in a month ago.
Hey, I'm still growing, man.
Go ahead.
I think it is important just because you never really know I feel like you never really know someone until they fully open up to you. Break down, cry. That's somebody's raw form. And for men, that's hard to show. So women, when they do show it, it's appreciated. So.
Have you ever experienced that?
Yes.
How did it make you feel?
Sometimes being the cause of it doesn't help, so
I can't take this anymore.
I don't know. It feels good when he opens up, but not when
This is not a marriage counseling. Let's
Yeah.
let's keep going.
I would say for me, for a guy to open up and express how he feels, that's very therapeutic. I'm so dead. Just cause it's just
My fault, JD. Go ahead.
yeah, it's just very therapeutic because I don't know, it's just you're just telling me how you're feeling, so it's just it's rare for Black men especially to really get in depth with how they're feeling because of just putting your pride aside and all that. You just want to keep up with this narrative, so
makes
it's
you
very
feel closer.
Yeah, that bond.
Even though with me, I don't know, my ex, he was very emotional, and when he came at me with his emotions sometimes, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do, but so I mean, sometimes I'll go and hug him, but
What do you mean when you come at you? He come at you?
He would.
I think you talking about he was just basically
he was telling me how he felt, everything that he had to do, he felt like he was just doing everything by himself, he felt like people didn't like him. He felt like people hated him, and because just because he was just doing so much, I don't know,
was he
had a kid,
right? No,
he was very insecure.
Let's not talk about the
but-
ex. Let's not talk about the ex.
Let's not talk about the ex, but okay, so it was just hard. Right, you gonna be looking like you're talking about yeah, let's not put all this on there.
The hose thing. The hose.
Nah, but yeah.
It was hard. It was hard to just deal with his emotion. It was just a lot. On top of me being emotional, right?
So
we couldn't sit down and have a conversation. We would always fight. So it was horrible. I don't know.
So some scary shit to hear though.
But it was
I do got a question for you though. So being in an experience in an emotional relationship like that with a man, do you prefer any, like, because, you know, there's a difference between being emotional and controlling your emotions. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people like tend to intertwine the two. Would you prefer an emotional man?
I do. I really do. Like, I would, like, that's what I wanted him to do, was to open up to me, tell me, like, how he was feeling, you know, stuff like that. Like, but the way he was coming at me, it wasn't like he was opening up. Way. Like, you know, it wasn't the right way. So, yeah, it was just weird. It was difficult, and it was hard on me, you know, like, because I didn't know how to react to that.
Right.
So.
There's 3 other girls in here, so I'm going to get their answers. My fault. You can start this way, or we go this way.
Yeah, we stand an emotional king. Honestly, like emotional, like reactions in general, or emotional, physical, whatever, they're just from your body processing information. Oh, what's up?
No, keep going.
Oh yeah, your body just processing information from your environment and whether or not that's good or bad. So like, I don't know, growing up with brothers and everything, you see them like trying to express that emotion even at a young age, like emotionally, physically, whatever. And when they try to express that emotionally, they get beat down there, they get popped, and they get told, be quiet, you're a boy, you're strong.
Right.
Hush up, that's not, big boys don't cry, stuff like that. So that gets bottled up. Sorry, I'm like, my head's going a mile a minute, and I'm trying to get all about something. But, so, sorry. Emotions get bottled up, and then you've seen a lot of black men where they can't express that emotion because, like I said, they've been beaten into that silence, so they feel like their input doesn't matter. Whether or not they feel that their environment is good or bad doesn't matter to them anymore, so it just becomes numb. So when you see the like different relationships, like I had a similar relationship with my ex, like we were talking about, I was like, girl, we living the same life. But no, like dealing with the individual that's like learning their emotions and like trying to figure out how to open up and everything, it's difficult, and like being able to sit there and process that with them as well, and being able to help them figure out how to communicate their emotions effectively to where you can understand them and they can understand how you communicate. It's a difficult process, but I feel like if you do put in the steps and the progress, it's definitely worth it.
It works. Right. That's good. Ladies, men, y'all here listening? Just basically game for some relationship. Right, yeah.
Let me ask. Can I ask the question? For the men, does it bother you that like women are so emotional?
My bad.
Sorry.
I don't want to stop you. Just we didn't answer.
Okay. I'm like, since you're talking about emotions,
hold that question.
Okay.
Hold that question.
For me, I feel like I would want somebody that can like open up, because I was in a relationship for 2 years and they didn't open up at all. And so it was kind of like frustrating almost, because it's like talking to like a mirror, you know, like you're talking to yourself almost.
Right.
And like, I don't know, like you're basically trying to get something out of somebody that doesn't want to like open up. So,
I agree with all the girls. Like, I do want a man that shows his like emotions, and like, but I also want someone to be like there for me. So I feel like we both have to be strong to an extent for each other.
Right. Oh no. Okay. So yeah, my question for the men was, you know, not saying like all men like bottle their feelings up and stuff, but for those who do, like, does it bother you that like, you know, having a girlfriend like and her being emotional, like, does that bother you to see her cry or be emotional or and stuff like that?
Yes.
With you not being.
She's feeling feelings today.
Right.
Crying today? What?
Why are you crying?
That's tough.
So okay, Dane, you said you were in a relationship for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
So talk to me about it.
Which camera is on me? This one? I think overall it was. I think it's good for if you're in a relationship, express all your emotions. I don't think men or women should have to feel like they are not comfortable. Like, if this is your significant other, you should not be uncomfortable with expressing how you feel towards them. You know what I'm saying? And they should never make you feel like you shouldn't be allowed to go to them if they have a problem, if you have a problem with something, or if you're just dealing with anything. They should, if that's your real significant other, y'all should be like, boom, I'm dealing with this. Or usually you could just feel like the energy, like this is my shorty, like, yo, you not, what's going on?
What's up?
Like,
What's up? What's going on?
So I think that's how it was, and I think it was cool. I mean, we definitely it created a lot of issues. We fought a lot, but I think that just comes with all strong relationships. You know, you go through your things. I'm not saying fighting is good. Don't be fighting. Don't be arguing. But at the same time, being able to have those conversations and being able to, that creates, like Candace was saying, that understanding between the two of you guys to say, like, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I express my emotion. And now y'all are more on the same page of like, okay, I know what his triggers are, I know what her triggers are, I know how she feels, and y'all be like, cool, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
it
more
definitely helps.
open.
It's more open, so you're more comfortable with each other, and it's a better, stronger relationship for both parties.
Especially just to piggyback off what Dan said, especially when like two different people communicate differently emotionally, it can be like a thunderstorm meets a tornado sometimes.
Especially when one's an introvert and then one's
so the girl could be like real mad, like ooh, and then you just like, yo, chill, but you still feeling the same. Y'all still having the same conversation, same emotions, but you just show it different. So y'all gotta be able to have those situations where you like, I'm pissed and I want to hit you, and I'm pissed and I'm calm. But we both like, y'all like, we can find a happy medium. You know what? To where we can just have the conversation. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And even if that is like silence for a little bit, you know what I'm saying. Like, I know that you're pissed, and I know that I need to give you your time. I need to give you your space. Let me do that. But we are still gonna have the conversation. That's at some point, the conversation needs to happen. That's the key. The conversation has to happen. Facts. Y'all learning from us.
You heard it here first, y'all. The conversation.
Okay, y'all. So we're gonna continue on this conversation, but right now we're gonna go to a quick break. So enjoy this message from our sponsors.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do this.
again. So I want you to put yourself in a position to where you have the opportunity to change someone's life. Mm-hmm. They've been doing this. They've been in the streets. They've been running around, or they just been you've noticed that they've just been a real violent person, right? And you have the opportunity to do anything, right? You have anything that you want, and like this is how we're gonna fix you. What are you gonna do?
That's deep.
I just thought about that. That was off the dome.
I'm like, if I had any opportunity, I would put them through a trade school or have them go through an apprenticeship program to where they could learn a trade. Like, okay, you want to be aggressive? Well, let's teach you construction so you can knock down walls.
Right.
Or you want to build a table? You want to be able to build stuff? Let's get you to building tables, stuff like that. Because we need plumbers, we need carpenters, we need different stuff like that.
Right. But let me ask you something. So how do you battle that stigma of being a plumber? I'm not gonna lie. If someone gave me the option of being a gangbanger or being a plumber,
I would be a plumber every time. Boy, get in there.
I would personally. So my question: how do you battle those stigmas and like those stereotypes of like a plumber? Because we all know, if you don't know, plumbers can make some really good money.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Really
So yeah, if you're a drug dealer, say you're flipping coke, okay, you're making what, $1,200 a key? That could be 2 houses you clean in that same amount of time while you're sitting here flipping drugs.
Right. Right. Yeah, and on top of that, it's legal to where it's less high risk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
But I also think it's like we should also be having the conversations of people who were convicted 20 years ago for like selling weed. Now it's legal to sell weed, and it's the big ass business, and that's a business Black people could capitalize on. And so I think it's important to like when we're talking about economics to include these people, gamingers, like youth in the conversation, and being like, yo, like you can capitalize off of this in terms of compromising with white people on the economy. Like you release all the people that went to jail, like making legal demands so that legal route we're making systemic changes into being able to like allow those people to live.
Right. So if I'm hearing right, which will be dope as fuck if I was in high school, excuse my language, but if I was in high school and I noticed that there was just like, okay, there's a program where you can learn all about cannabis, right? The effects about it, the business of it, all of this stuff. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
You could first, for me, I think the first step is like making a systemic change.
Right.
So going straight to the law and being like, this is what we're employing.
Okay.
Changing the curriculum, and so like they're employing BIPOC history in most of the DPS schools now.
Right.
Also inform us on the economics of things, like that. Make that a requirement for Black students, specifically Black and brown students, and then like they shouldn't be going to jail for doing this stuff. Like let's be real. Like the whole industry of selling, there's a legal industry of selling drugs, and it's the doctor's office.
Yes,
so let's be real. You know what I'm saying? And like have those conversations with each other, so that when we're doing these things and when we're setting up systems, it'll be cool.
Right.
Okay.
That's interesting. I like that. Like being a pharmaceutical engineer instead of being, a pen.
Right.
Head pen.
Like a drug dealer. Instead of being a kingpin,
drug dealer.
Be a guy
that shows you I never saw
That was really smart. I like that.
You didn't ever watch Scarface?
Anybody else? Anybody else have any?
Just to piggyback off what you were saying, like with the whole thing, if they were to go in the entrepreneurship route, one like you said, the cannabis route, where they could either like employ an apprenticeship with like a grower or somebody who does that regularly day in day out. I think that would also be a great program. Also with let's get all them people that were incarcerated for all those weed deals while we're out here selling this legally. But on top of that, just being able to create just an entrepreneurship route, like, okay, if you don't want to become a plumber, you don't want to become a carpenter, let's get you a product. Let's figure out where you can get your own business to where you can make your own money for yourself. Like, y'all seen that episode of Killer Mike did with the Cripicola, and he literally set the Crips up with a whole business entrepreneur setup. Like, you can do that with a whole bunch of different gangs and different products and stuff like that. Shoot, people are doing this every day.
Right. Okay. Anybody else? I mean, there's got to be more.
I guess my only comment on the entire thing is if they was teaching about marijuana in school, I would definitely be in that class every day, on time. Teacher's pet. Teacher's pet. I got pages of notes. It's
Schools
going
are
down.
implying like a cannabis research study at their universities.
Universities.
Like, I know.
Well, shoot, that's university. That's what I gotta pay to do. But shoot, I'll walk up into high school and be like,
no,
"What am I learning?"
That's
about
what I'm saying. If we, because we're
Yeah.
already, if we have a start of saying like, boom, we're gonna be able to do this at a college level, there's no way we shouldn't be able to bring that down to a high school level, you know, and not even just, and it doesn't necessarily have to be teaching. It's not teaching you, oh, if I give you this gram, you can sell it for $10. You know what I'm saying? It's not teaching you how to sell drugs, but it's understanding the economics behind the marijuana system. You know what I'm saying? Being able to capitalize off of that and understanding what it is that you're producing. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be selling weed, understand the plant, understand what it is that you're doing, and not just I'm selling drugs to make money off of it. You know
Marijuana economics.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
They teach sex to kids at like 11, 10 years old, in 5th grade.
They did that for like one day, and then they did.
If I could teach you photosynthesis,
giving them condoms.
Right. That is not how I learned about
If we can have sex ed, we can have.
And it's only
You
for
should
an hour
be able,
too.
if you can teach a kid how to properly engage in sexual intercourse, you should be able to teach a kid
properly.
Yeah,
that's a jump. That's a jump.
Well,
Not
I mean,
properly.
like safely, not properly, safely.
Yeah, definitely not properly, because they'll just be like, penis goes in the vagina. It's just like, where's the female pleasure? Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, why are you talking about this?
That's just me. That's where we jump.
Hey, the dad came out of this
I'm
nigga.
sorry.
Dad, wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
No, but like that's right. You're 100% right, because I learned sexual education in middle school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I could learn sexual education in middle school, and I'm at the time I'm in 6th, 7th grade, I'm not even thinking about sex. I just put it on my mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way if we want to make this legal, you know what I'm saying, and have like actual systems to where we can have people capitalize off of such a booming industry.
Right.
Teach that young and make it to where it's an education thing and not just like a it's like it's shown, it's seen as a problem right now. You know what I'm saying? Like selling weed is like an issue if you're not doing it legally. You know what I'm saying? But I think if we're teaching people how to do this the legal way and teaching them young, that would make a big difference in.
So from what I'm getting is we're like, so is that the only thing? All the opportunities we feel like? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just have one comment. Did anyone else hear him say photosynthesis?
Yeah.
No, teaching photosynthesis. Teach photosynthesis.
That's with plants.
Right.
Weed is a plant. Weed is a plant.
They go through that. I don't know if it's all photosynthesis.
I'm interested in what he got to say.
Photosynthesis is with making oxygen and energy.
But
Well,
he's saying
I'm not saying like if we're able to teach a kid photosynthesis, we can teach a kid the growing process of marijuana.
Because marijuana, there is what I think people are forgetting is like before there were like ropes, like actually like the thing they used for ropes, that was made out of like weed. It's made out of hemp ropes. Like when they came here on like Mayflowers, those were hemp ropes. And so marijuana is more than just smoking weed. It's more than just eating it. It's a lot more. And so it's good that we see that those could be one of the fixes to
repeat your original question.
The original question was, if you had the opportunity to give somebody that you know that was just heavily involved with youth violence, right? Like that person, now when I say youth violence, that person that you pop up in their head, that you had an opportunity to give them anything, right? Like that one chance to go, like what would it be? And so we were talking about education, we were talking about getting them into trade schools, we were talking about mental health resources, different things like that. So there's not really.
I think building like like social skills, you know what I'm saying, or being able to be like, okay, I'm your friend, like let me try to, you know what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, it would necessarily be, because even if you try to like offer a trade school, you can't demand him to go to a trade school, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't be like, look, bro, you're gonna do this, but
Right.
it starts with building like a social bond with that person, you know what I'm saying? Even if y'all not the closest friends, the only way he's gonna like really try to listen to you is if you like, bro, I'm coming to you as your friend,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not coming to you as like your teacher, your mentor, trying to tell you to get into something that you don't want to do. I'm telling you this as your friend, that you need to do something different, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing, is being able to create that social bond with them people and be able to close that gap from, oh, I'm solid person in the world versus a gang member. You know, not that those aren't solid people, but you gotta bridge that gap to be like, you're comfortable with me coming to you as a person to be like, look, this is not what you need to be doing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm surprised nobody said get him in contact with businesses. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like certain businesses.
She said that. She's like, fine, you can apprentice a grower, like in dispensaries and stuff like that.
With the trade school. Actually, she said trade school. She said the.
Oh, she said.
No, she said trade school and like getting people in contact with like
growers and
yeah.
dispensaries.
But even always right, Elijah. You need to know that.
Yeah, just like smoke crack, right?
But no, I see what you're saying. Not just like weed, but just like businesses in general.
Period.
Especially because with us, we have very good resources in terms of like who we know. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
if you know somebody who need like that good mentorship, or you know somebody who need a job, something legal, you have so many people around you that you might not even realize that you have. But you know what I'm saying? Just being able to be like, yo, Elijah, my man's over here needs something. I'm sure Elijah could contact somebody to get him into the hands of the right person. You know what I'm saying? So I see what you're saying.
So that's kind of like the things that we'll come back next week. But I actually have I have two more questions. One is, since we're talking the subject of education in school, what's a subject that you would take out of school and replace it with?
English.
Whoa.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
I'm gonna hop on that in a second.
I'm gonna hop on that.
Explain that a little
white
bit.
people.
And
already.
let me clarify.
History?
And this subject can be replaced with anything.
Hold on. Listen to the. I'm interested on the English people. I want to hear.
But so then this subject can be replaced. Can be replaced with anything. So if you're like, I want to be a whole class about sleeping, how to sleep right. Like that should be in schools. Then that's a subject, right? There's a subject on mental health issues, like or psychology, but more about like black psychology, how the black brain works, or different things like that.
So you're saying basically, what would you replace that subject you take away?
Right, with anything. It could be any subject.
Anything that
Quidditch.
Okay.
The Harry Potter game.
So I'm interested. I do want to hear this English one for sure, but let's see what people's thinking for sure. Let's start with DJ.
Yeah. Let me see. So if I'm replacing anything, I'm just replacing our normal history class with either, and y'all are gonna laugh, but this is legitimate. We need a legitimate sex education class, preferably in high school when people are mature enough to take it. Because I feel like if we're teaching kids at a younger age about sex and sex education as a whole, like what safe sex is, we're missing a lot of things. Like some of the people in that class may not be straight. Like heterosex is not for them. You could be bisexual or gay, or maybe you're asexual and you don't believe in sex as a whole. It should just be something that should be a lot more open in high school. It should be more of an open conversation. And I'd replace our regular history with that. But if not history, then, or if not sex education, then definitely black history, or just history, a better history, not just not just from the victor side.
The real history?
Yes, real history. So I want to know about slavery and what Christopher Columbus was really doing. I want to know about the Detroit Five and the things that brothers had to go through on a daily basis.
Story.
Yeah, not his story, but history as a whole. Because that's just a lot of things that we aren't educated about. And we have to go find the resources by ourselves, and they're trapped in places like libraries. And like, sure, we have online as a resource, but a lot of us aren't about to go out of our way to learn more about us, and that's whack. But that's another thing completely.
I do have a comment on that. Not to because I actually have a teacher in my history class that actually tells us about history, but also what has like really happened as well. So like I understand what you're going with, and I can know most people be like telling what people's side story would be like with the whole Christopher Columbus thing and all that. But like with my teacher, he actually goes deeper into that and explains the whole thing.
Oh shit, we need more of him.
So yeah.
Yeah, we do.
What's his name? What's his name?
His name is Kevin Ruskusky. He's one of the greatest teachers.
Kevin Ruskusky?
Kevin Ruskusky.
Mr. R? What y'all call him? I know y'all don't call him Mr. Ruskusky.
Yeah, I call him Mr. Ruskusky. That's his full name. And he's one of the best teachers.
I'll say that
What do you mean by that?
What's his race?
Oh, he's white. He's actually white.
Like a Russian name.
That sounds Jewish.
Hey, I don't know.
But shoot, he's keeping it
So,
on.
I kinda wanna key in on something.
That's what he's saying is that we need more of like that.
Yeah.
If we're gonna teach in the schools, teach like the actual
full thing.
Teach me the truth.
Yeah,
Teach
don't
me the
give me
truth.
the watered down, whitewash.
Like I think I've had like one history teacher like that, and like it was his last year,
never
and he
had
was
that.
so not with teaching anymore. But he put us on the good stuff.
It was really fun because during Black History Month, he just did the whole history thing about Black history. And it was really fun for me.
That's good. So what I want to talk about too, since you answered, I asked a question. When I asked that question, you said English. Why did that jump at you so quick?
That was it.
Oh yeah, no, that
you said English.
Yeah, he said English, and I was feeling some type.
He didn't say English.
I asked him why he said English.
How you go?
Who said English?
He said English.
That's what I was pointing at. You said English, right?
How we all see you pointing at him?
I said just like this.
Alright,
I said,
man,
how do you feel about English?
Answer the question. I said English because this year, like, it was my freshman year, and like, it was just like, I'm trying to think, man. Leave me alone, man. But so like English, it was just like they taught history pretty much because I didn't have a history class this year. I don't know why, but I didn't have a history class, so he was pretty much teaching history and English. But English, they literally teach like stuff I've learned throughout elementary and middle school and stuff. And I was just like, I know what like a metaphor and stuff is like that. But like the books that they read, they always try to bring up a book about like something that says the N-word, and then they always try to have that talk, and then it's just that one kid that makes that talk like really what's wrong?
I can say the N-word all the time.
I can see an argument with it. I'd be like, bro, I don't.
But it's
I'm
in
gonna
the
be
book.
real. I was sick of learning about
Shakespeare.
verbs.
I don't care about Shakespeare.
Shakespeare was
What? Y'all crazy.
Shakespeare was hard, bro.
The way
window
I'm saying the way we were taught like Shakespeare, you know what I'm saying? The way we were taught like the emphasis on I don't agree with that. I could see an argument. Somebody could definitely create an argument to say like, bro, English doesn't need to be like emphasized so much. You know what I'm saying? But like, I know
most of us graduated very
oh God! I think English is very, very important.
Hey, how many of y'all?
I have a legitimate question though. Like, in all of your English classes from kindergarten to 12th grade, how many freaking black books did you guys learn about?
I have one black book, Monster.
Huckleberry and Finn.
Oh, I got Monster.
It's not a black book.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
our eyes are watching that.
That was the only book. I swear to God, that was the only book.
That's a good book.
Where's it
called?
Yes.
Our eyes
Are watching that.
And that's what I wasn't naming black English. I'm saying like all the books that you could name the books that you read in high school.
No,
We
we're
got
talking about
Monster
He's wrong.
Hey, hold on, one at a time, because we got to make sure.
And why the cage versus.
Okay, so let's talk about
I feel like I disagree with what he's saying because, like, I feel like it's a middle point, right? So I feel like English does need to exist, but if we're gonna talk about English, like, let's talk about James Baldwin. Let's talk about Angela Davis. Let's talk about black books that like.
Langston Hughes.
Let's talk about like why Ebonics is a real ass language. Like why we have to code switch in every single professional space when we have. When black people have a language and have created and sustained a language, and without black English wouldn't exist. So I just think like.
So would you replace English? Would you replace English with black English?
I think I would replace everything with like the BIPOC version, which is Black, Indigenous, People of Color
so, like,
version.
you'd be like, I ain't doing this no more, and it would be, you know what I'm saying?
It'd be perfectly fine. I'm not getting the point taken off for saying wanna. I'm not getting the point deducted for saying wanna. I ain't trying to do this.
Hey, if they say it in conclusion, you be like, real facts, real facts.
Period.
Straight up.
And that's that.
So anybody else, like nobody else would change anything in school?
I would change science.
Oh, I was just about to say that.
I don't know, like not everyone wants to learn about science, so like there should be a separate course for
That should be hard, nigga.
I really
I want to sit in a room and learn about God. I don't want to do
Science shouldn't be required to graduate.
You said it should be.
So I would,
you love science?
I would never. Okay, if I had to choose one, that's kind of hard actually. Now to think about it.
Chickens now.
Hey, hold up, yeah. I want to hear what he gonna say.
Ooh, that's kind of hard to think about. Maybe technology.
From you? What? You want to have computer classes at school?
Nah, because I'm not really into programming that much. I know some kids are, but I just feel like we can have a better education with that. Maybe
Damn, I disagree with you, bro.
You need to.
I think that in today's era, we need to push that even.
Wait, hold on. Time out. Let him tell me what he. Let him say what he replace you with.
See, I kind of like the sex education thing, but I was thinking because like biology, they kind of teach you about that, but not really explain it that much.
Biology is not good, Chief. Not good. I'm sorry.
Hang on. Before y'all jump on, what would you replace science? I mean, what would you replace technology with?
Y'all gonna probably roast me for this. Probably like I don't know, like a military class.
Oh, he's talking about ROTC.
Well, will it be ROTC or will it be like explain this class for me?
It'll be kind of like RTLC, but like
ROTC.
Yeah, ROTC, but like a bit more about that. I guess you can say
about American military.
Yeah,
talking about that,
like,
having that option for people to go to.
I don't know. I feel like it's my idea.
I would respect that if it was like
but now
like just teaching militant styles and you know what I'm saying, discipline and stuff, whatnot.
Yeah, but that's what
like jujitsu, you know what I'm saying? That'd be hard.
Shoot, I was in there with class. Like that was
Hold up. Go ahead.
Everybody walking around.
I'd also like to add, like, we don't really support arts programs in schools right now, and that really needs to be like integrated back into schools because, well, like there's a lot of like creativity isn't only for people that are like artists and musicians. Creativity is everyone can be creative, even if you're into sciences, whatever, math. Everyone can be creative, and it's needed right now. Like our world right now requires you to be innovative and creative in any job that you're.
Yo, I like listening to y'all, bro. That shit's hard. I didn't even think about that, bro. You can teach that to a lot of youth violence.
Right, these two.
Anything else?
Like throw some paint at a wall. You know what I'm saying?
They there.
What you said? Nah, you said something about
crack.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be every week we gonna come back. So you still smoking crack?
No.
Here's the thing. The crazy thing is, I never said I smoked crack. I said if you do.
You said it was okay to smoke crack. It is for me to assume.
And I just want to tell you guys that crack is a very big stereotype, right? It's looked at as the worst drug ever because black people were the prominent users of it, and it's actually definitely a myth that you cannot get addicted off your first hit. I just want to say that I'm not
Still not promoting.
I'm not promoting crack, but that's important. But it's important that you
Hey.
understand like these racial tones that are in everything.
Crack is not as bad as he's saying. Pretty much.
Oh my god!
Hey man.
You better open your neck right now.
But not only that, you do that for you too.
I was not defending crack. I'm defending crack. I'm telling you. I'm telling you guys. Bro. If I wanted to say crack is what I said the racial undertones, like crack is the worst thing ever. Like it's the worst drug ever. You said yourself heroin is the worst drug ever.
Heroin is the worst drug
Okay
ever,
then. So I'm exposing you guys to the racist things that you don't even know you're doing.
You're telling this to kids though. You like, hey man, just to let y'all know, crack ain't that. If you
don't
heroin,
hey, man,
but don't smoke crack. Don't smoke.
But y'all have to like. Anyway,
what you be smoking?
Back to the topic at hand. And if there was, but just so I can get back to my topic, if there was a subject in school that we would take out, it'd be I don't know, some stupid history, right? And we would replace it with a drug information class because people need to understand. Because bro, even
no history class at all.
History. Okay, I don't know about. I just think I don't know
math.
I want to say math.
No. Okay, wait, no. I
say science. Science is a good one. Science is a good one. Science is. I feel like science is a good one. Just general science. General science is not needed because it after, from everyone's standpoint, like you're gonna do science at some point, but.
Hey, bro, why ain't nobody say a bills class? Understanding like money management.
We just ignored this half of the room. Like they just said, you own the space, doing their own thing with their own ideas. It's great.
On every different conversation. Wait, sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
It seems like drug classes. Isn't there? I'm in medical club.
Hold on, guys. Go ahead.
Sorry, we over here having two different conversations.
Go ahead.
I like because you said something like with drug class, right?
Right.
Drug class. Isn't there like medical clubs for that already?
No, what I mean by drug classes is I mean like we under youth are under a serious problem of we don't have any outlet, so we turn to drugs, which is a serious problem. Whether you guys want to make fun of it or not, it is a serious problem that kids go straight to drugs because it is the cheapest thing, it is the easiest thing, and it suppresses feelings, right? So I believe that you have to, because we're going through this pandemic of teens using drugs, we have to implement some kind of class, some type of club, something that is like that tells you the truth on what's going on. Not to scare, not dare, not you just say no.
Oh, dare.
Not just say no. I'm talking about an informational class to saying this is what this is what happened if you were to do this. Right? These are the effects. This is what you would feel. But then these are also the bad effects. This is what happens when you take too much. This is what happens, like really educating people about like what they're putting in their bodies. Because that's like the first thing that I think when it comes to youth violence, it's just aware, like being like self-worth. Self-worth. And self-worth starts by putting things in your body if you don't know what it is. Just because you want to feel better and you don't really fuck with your worth that much, you just, okay, fuck, it's a pill.
Right.
Right?
So it's insecurities.
Right.
I was going to say,
That's a
to even piggyback onto that would just be a psychology coping class.
Right. Okay. Something.
That would just be a psychology
something to make
class.
it right.
Understanding addiction.
Well, I was just gonna say, back in it was middle school. I guess I was in like 7th grade or something like that. I was in Atlanta, and I guess Atlanta school systems are
a little bit different.
Yeah. Because we did have something like that. It was kind of its own thing. It was a health class, but the dude was mainly talking about drugs and the side effect of drugs. But the only thing that I didn't like about that class is the stuff that he was saying about marijuana. Because what those classes tend to do is they tend to make all of the drugs seem as bad as physically possible. So you'll never want to do any of them. And that's problematic in and of itself. Like, I didn't get to learn about the good parts of marijuana or... Well, I guess marijuana is the only one that I can like.
I mean, there's studies for all kinds of drugs, but
like
it's just responsibility.
Like shrooms and acid, and well, maybe not acid, but definitely shrooms because those are a lot more natural than acid.
Right.
But yeah, no, each drug has its side effects and bad things that come with it, but they also have their good things. Like marijuana really helps me with my back. Like it's stuff like that. And it's if we do implement a drug class, we would have to make sure that we don't victimize every drug. Villainize, not victimize.
So I mean, are we all in the same accord? Like, do we all feel the same way about that?
Yeah.
Like, is drugs a prominent issue?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys feel like it's a prominent issue, right?
Yeah.
Like in your community today?
I feel like a lack of knowledge is
lack of knowledge. That's a great issue. I'm mad nobody else clapped with me. I should clap, but you feel me? That's good. So, so what we like to do is when we end shows off, we like to do a closing statement. So I don't know if any of you guys are business owners, influencers. We are the like YouTube or anything like that, or like you want people to come and like do anything. Like now's your chance to talk to. There's 2 cameras, 3 cameras. We'll let's just call closing statements. We'll just go around and make that easy. So
y'all can start over.
What?
Just be like, hey, thank y'all for watching.
Right, hey, thank y'all for coming. I don't know who's all there, but
make sure y'all say your name again too.
It's here. Y'all know me. What's up? Add me. Whatever. But yeah, thank y'all for coming. Yeah. Hope y'all learned something from it.
Yes. Jaden, thank you guys for tuning in with us this evening.
My name is Aaliyah. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I am a makeup artist, so make sure you go follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, Leah Creations, EYE, and then Leah Creations.
I'm Hermela Hailu. I'm an artist, so I do commission work. Follow me on Instagram at Plant Lady Productions. My name's Salem. Please continue to educate yourselves and have these conversations. Thank you.
I'm Dane. Make sure you guys tune in. We're actually our group, the Power of One, all of us. This is a youth violence prevention campaign that we are starting, and we are actually in our official launch as of today. So you guys are all a part of our launch phase. So thank you guys all for showing out and coming through and support. We will continue to get you guys content. We're coming up with community events. And you guys can definitely come join the conversation and get involved at thepowerofone5280.org. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, there is a comment section under there. You guys can follow us on Facebook at the Power of One Denver, Instagram at the same tag, Twitter. All of our social platforms are up. So check us out and get involved.
I'm Brenda. Thank you for watching.
Sorry. I'm Nevaeh. I'm a part of the public safety youth leadership team. I'm just interning with the Power of One for the summer. You guys can also check us out at dpsylt.com.
My name's Zechariah, and I'm staying with Nevaeh. I'm an intern here too for the summer at the Denver Public Youth Leadership Team.
Wait, you guys aren't from Denver?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are? Okay, you said, yo, you're staying here for the summer. I'm like, what?
No, we're interning with the Power of One
for the summer. Yeah, and thank you for watching.
My name's Damari. Thank you for watching.
My name is Candace Neal. I'm the part owner of Dauntless Designs, Custom Trays, and Smoke Accessories. You can hit me on my Facebook page or Miss J. LaBaca, my business partner as well. Get your custom trays, products, jars. We got you. Thank you so much.
Number, just
Say less. Thank you so much for participating in Under the Comments and watching with us as we had this really great conversation. It was a great vibe. I'm happy I got to be here.
Let me see. It's DJ. Just a quick plug for one, my therapist, Jason Schenkel. Go ahead and look him up. Two, my girlfriend, because I love her very much. We back to the beginning, baby. We love you. We love you. I love you, Ari. Every single time. Wait.
Right now, she's like, ah.
She's like, I swear we're gonna have this conversation.
I got one more. Let me see. Last one is I'm with the group 10 for 10. That's actually where we're going to next. Me and Elijah. Just gonna plug one of our events real quick. The Rise Up 4th of July rally. I got what he got. 4th of July. The Rise Up 4th of July rally. It starts. The march starts.
Wait, hold up, because he's telling an event. I want to make sure you got the
Yeah, no. So the Rise Up 4th of July.
I got you.
You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, let me see. It's July 4th, obviously. 2020. Obviously, I don't know why I said that. 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. March starts at Manual High School. So be there or don't be woke.
And where if you guys are marching because of
just the prominence of black on black crime and just some other or not black on black crime. I'm so sorry.
I got you.
Yeah, no, not black on black crime. Black on black. The march for police brutality, not black on black crime. So I guess violence on black people or people of color.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm talking real fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elijah can finish off my plug.
We also making sure that we gotta realize that 4th of July, that's the independence of America and the freedom of it. It was established in 1776. Blacks in America wasn't free until 1865. You know what I'm saying? We were still getting colonized as indigenous. Latinx was still getting colonized and enslaved. We still fighting for rights to this day. So at the end of the day, we fighting for us to be able to understand and be conscious towards what's going on in America and with these American holidays. We don't need to be barbecuing. We need to be actually talking about things going on in our community.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Like unironically though, I think they're what? Do we say that there food or not?
There will be food. The news gonna be out there. We're gonna be representing.
We not celebrating the 4th of July though, but there will be food because we be hungry. That's it.
There will be some ribs and chicken.
There's somebody barbecue out there. I'm be like, bro, come out with red, white, and
oh God, what if they marching with some hot dogs?
I'm like, hey, you gonna have the Jesus sandwich on try to do that too. I guarantee you.
Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for watching.
And that's
Thank
adulting.
you.
Thank you.
Hold on, my sister. Stay alive, my brother. Oh, yes. Things will get harder, but we're not gonna stop. No, we're gonna stand up and hear a cry. We're tired living this life. Listen to our cries. We'll be the light.
Youdia.
How y'all doing? Young activists, back here with another video. So today we're gonna be talking about filters and why people use them. I know people who are addicted to social media. Like Kanye West said, social media is the modern day cigarette, and people are addicted to filters as well because people are addicted to the image of perfection. But people have to understand the importance of flaws because imperfection is the best perfection you could possibly have. A lot of people like to put puppy dogs on their face, lighten up their skin, try to make themselves look thinner. But in reality, the best way you can win somebody over is by owning up to your flaws and being yourself. We live in an idle period. For example, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everything's about you. But what we don't understand is actually understanding how to be yourself and be imperfect and show your flaws on social media makes the perfect version of yourself. Instead of striving for perfection and what the image is in today's time, strive for being the perfect version of yourself. That's how you truly show perfection. There's no filter that's needed for that because when you're being yourself and you're comfortable with yourself, nobody can take that away from you. Don't strive for likes, strive for you. Truly be yourself. Don't strive for likes, strive for you. Likes don't pay bills, y'all. What we have to understand is that being the best version of you means you're focusing on your goals, accomplishing what you have to do. And the people who are going to come around you are going to be needed. It's not the ones who just like you because you look good on the filter. They actually like you for you and the flaws that you come with. Imperfection is what you need to be striving for and being the best version of yourself. Likes don't pay bills. Social media is the modern day cigarette. And cigarettes kill you. All right, y'all, so we have to understand is this addiction is gonna be really hard to break, but if you can break this, you can break anything. Start striving for yourself, know how to understand and truly be yourself, and everything around you will be accomplished and manifested. You know what I'm saying? So there's a scripture I really like, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. It says, envy thou not the oppressor. Know how to be you, know how to be yourself, and love yourself. Number 1, turn off your notifications. Actually, call them notifications because you're not going to be on them no more because it's going to help you get off social media. So get off your notifications. Number 2, track the time in which you're on social media because you'd be surprised how long people be on social media. There's only 24 hours in a day, and we want to make sure we are reducing those times each and every single minute. Or number 3, get the hell off social media. Read a book. Get a hobby. Social media is not your life. If you ain't making money off of it, no reason you really need to be on it outside of that. Well, that's another jolting experience for young activists. Make sure you like and follow.
you.